Right then, now it'd be time to look for a couple of Easter eggs. In fact, there's 5 of them in this entire area. And there's no doubt as to why that if you're wondering why that is, well, it's pretty reasonable. I mean, this area is pretty big for a rather snowy mountain island area fashion-ish. I'm very good with vocabulary, as you can see. If we just creep around this cliffside, you might notice that there's a hand right there. It's sort of difficult to see, but once you move forward close enough...
Fly, you fools!
The Nar over there tells us to fly, the fools we are. And off he goes, into the distance. The distant below, the unknown, where he might have been teleported away by Elohim or something. Presumably. Now, the second Easter egg, you can use this tree to act as your guidance for collecting it. Just carefully jump your way down and head towards this little sort of teal glowing cave. It's either teal or cyan. You find Sirius Sam frozen in carbonite. And that's a pretty good one. If you take this, if you run to Sam, you'll just get teleported out there. I was gonna say if you take this teleporter, then you'll just get teleported outside. You might not even know it's a teleporter in the first place, but there you go. That actually doesn't reset any of your progress in the puzzles, but I don't really think that necessarily matters. Because, the next part of the puzzle, this is actually kind of a lot of fun in terms of gaining progression to find the other Easter eggs. You see, you can find those 2 first Easter eggs normally, by default. You don't need to really do anything else. But in order to collect the 3 other Easter eggs, well, first of all, for the first, or rather the 3rd Easter egg, I might say, you want to sneak down into this secret area. There's a teleporter over here, and that actually just teleports you back up. Look at these signs. These signs will normally indicate the amount of progress you've made in this world. So if you haven't collected any sigils, then there will probably be a couple of laser gates here. Also, you need the star to collect this Easter egg. This is probably the only time in the game where in order to collect an Easter egg, you need a star. Unless, to be fair, unless the secret star worlds actually hold their own Easter eggs, but you might get the idea. Once you drop down here, you find this strange red glowy object over here. I'm not really sure what this thing is. It looks very futuristic. It kind of looks like a little backpack with a little telephone on it. What it really is a jetpack. And this jetpack pretty much works sort of similar to the way it does in Sirius Sam 3, only 10 times better. So, it has a lot of power. You can fly essentially for days. It's a pretty great, awesome jetpack, and you get a nice view of the entire area. This is just such a beautiful place. So that was the 3rd Easter egg, and also you can see what the jetpack looks like in 3rd-person mode. And we're gonna go ahead and get the 4th Easter egg, which is actually in the first puzzle we did. So just float your way over here, and you'll find a little snowman with a very poorly textured hat. There's also one of his buttons sitting right here, and if you use it, you get treated to this. You might recognize this song from Sirius Sam, the 2nd encounter. So I hope you enjoy it because it is Jingle Bell a Rock, and it is pretty impressive. So we can listen to this for a little bit of time, I guess. always worth a listen, in my opinion. Also, I apologize for the jetpack making a couple of noises, because pretty much anytime you run off of a slope with this thing equipped, then your character just kind of uses the jetpack by itself, and it's a little bit silly. So we have a jetpack, and you can probably see why this was an Easter egg where you needed to complete all the puzzles, because if you had access to the jetpack prior to that, then you could pretty much break every single puzzle in this area, if you so desperately desired, and you just didn't want to solve puzzles the normal way. There's a more of a hidden intention behind this jetpack, however. It's kind of a part 1 of 2 Easter egg, in a sense. So we're gonna jump over here and fly underneath the entrance to this puzzle. You'll find there's a little bit of danger over here, and you probably don't want to be running forward too closely, otherwise you'll get shot by 2 turrets. And there's a whole bunch of things we need to bring over here. So, here's the gimmick. You need to collect a bunch of stuff from previous puzzles which you've already completed. So, we're gonna do just that. I think you need 3 jammers, 1 fan piece, 1 box, and a connector, if I'm remembering this correctly. There's a whole bunch of stuff which you kind of have to carry with you. And you want to be careful when controlling the jetpack, because you don't want to fly too low without using the boost, otherwise then you'll probably just fall down and then everything will be reset and you will have to go collect the jetpack all over again. And it's not fun having to do that, so try to avoid falling off. And if I do, then I'm probably going to stop recording. I might scream for a couple of minutes, because I would be really, really, really pissed off about the fact that I would have to do every single little thing all over again, just so that way I could show off this one Easter egg. So, I beg of you, don't be like me, and don't be screaming, because screaming is not something that accomplishes much. But in the sense of being enraged at the time, it might seem like the only logical thing to do. I think I'm going to go scream for a couple of minutes. Alright, and we are back again. After a little bit of intense, heavy breathing, I have finally made it back without screaming my lungs out. Because in the end, you must understand the moral of the story, that screaming does not really accomplish anything. It just makes you a real bit of a grouch, and nobody likes a grouch. So don't be a grouch. Just remember to have patience. The Talos Principle, it being a puzzle game, is going to teach you a lot of patience. Not just in solving puzzles, but trying to get Easter eggs like this, which, they take time, man. They take a lot of time. Now, the peril has kind of been lost now that we've managed to successfully disable these 2 minigun turrets. We still need a 3rd jammer to open this door. We still need a laser to actually connect over here. And we're actually going to have to go back to one of the puzzles in order to do that. And we also need a fan and a box. A fan, so that way, well, the laser kind of has to activate the fan, and the box, that way the box can hit the button that's, for some reason, on the ceiling. But, you know, just go with it. You'll get the concept as to why that is eventually. So we're going to go back to this puzzle. Apparently I used up all my jetpack meter. You know, sometimes it kind of surprises me how quickly it builds up, but that's one of the things that probably did kill me one of the last times, if you couldn't get why that was before. It is the way it is, and there's not much you can do about that. In fact, I don't really need to do this. I just need to bring this connector over here so that way you can just sort of get a peek at the cliff. And we are going to not take that box with us just yet. In fact, I'm going to go after the 3rd jammer of this entire area, which is over on Weathertop. Just take a quick leap over the fence, grab this, and then once again, head on back. This Easter egg just requires a whole lot of steps. It's not really my favorite. I look at it sort of in a similar light to how that one Easter egg was in World C1 with, like, the Nar statue. This one just has a whole bunch of other things which you need to do in order to collect it. That which involves actually completing all of the puzzles first, so that way you can use the jetpack. And then there's just, like, you have to do all the, like, the little collecting, and you have to make sure you don't fall off the cliff, which would be awful. If you do fall off the cliff, well, that's it. Everything is just reset, and you have to do things all over again. And it's not really great. It's kind of awful, you might say. So, we're gonna do our best to avoid doing just that. And in the process of doing this, we're going to fly back over with this connector over here. Just one connector is all you need. In fact, I'm just going to connect it to that one little setup I have right now. And be very, very cautious when I do this, because I know if I fall off, well, it's going to be fun having to set this up all over again. But let's not think about that, because that's a very unpleasant thought. And, that kind of closed the door, because there is a jammer in the way. Guys, this jammer might, be a bit of a problem, really. I mean, you know, the jammer is kind of disabling something right now, which is actively the minigun turret, and, well, things could be better. Things could certainly be a whole lot better if they weren't like this, I guess. I don't know. You just need to position it in a really cramped area. Not get shot by the minigun turret, because that would be horrible. That's another reason why I don't like this Easter egg, is that everything is so cramped in that area. It's horrible. Okay, now we're gonna do the rest of this Easter egg. What we are going to first do is collect this fan. Just very carefully make our way back downtown, where everything is beautiful. Downtown, where there are minigun turrets stationed right in front of our prize, the beautiful golden city which is hiding behind this very gate. Well, obviously, it is our duty to find this golden city and retrieve the golden apple from it, from whence which we might eat from it and then escape from this treacherous virtual reality program. That's the theory anyway. Like, this is probably the secret ending to the game, guys. This might just very well be the end to the Talos Principle. If I could actually not fail at completing the rest of this, that'd be great. There we go. Right then, so there's an ice cave right here. And once you fall in, there's a frozen Nar. That's the Easter egg, guys. You went to all that trouble to collect a jetpack and find a Nar frozen in here. The only thing I find more redeeming about this one compared to the statue is that this area looks extremely pretty. But that's about all you're going to get. It does look really, really nice, but sadly there isn't much else of a reward in here. But hey, if you're like a sucker for aesthetics, then it's something that you might appreciate. And with all that completed, we're gonna stop neglecting the computer that so desperately wants to talk to us, because he's getting lonely, it seems. Hey there, buddy. How's it going? And I don't really feel like explaining this to you, man. You aren't exactly worth my time. Just as I am not worth your time for the time being. It's all about time, man. And I think it is about time we end this video off, because that world is pretty long. That is one of the more lengthier worlds. Not too challenging, just lengthy. And I think that's going to end the episode off right now. So thank you guys very much for watching. Have a great day or evening. And I guess I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.